Today is Tuesday, July 20th, 2021, and today might just be the last day of the NBA season. Game 6 between the Bucks and Suns is tonight. If the Suns lose today, it'll be over for them, over for the season, over for the money that I bet on them in April, over for whatever. Let's just talk hoops. Welcome to Derapy, Season 2. This is extremely awkward. So you heard me with my dear friend Matt and a couple of his roommates talk very openly, candidly, truthfully, bluntly about how we all believed the Suns would be winning this series. I even boldly proclaimed in a episode very similar to that one that the Suns would win the series in 5. Deep down, I thought they would win in 6. I did not expect this. You can only imagine how happy I was when the Bucks went down 2-0. I was like, I finally got one. I did it. Money. I was so happy. And then reality kicked in. I mean, the longer the series went, the more tired the Suns looked, the more pressure they looked like they were under, the stronger and longer the Bucks started to look. And before I knew it, the Suns had lost 3 games in a row. Just imagine me watching those games back to back to back thinking, okay, they dropped one, that's fine. Okay, it's tied 2-2. We're going to get back into it. Okay, we just need to figure them out. You know, the momentum swings all the time, but the Suns are the better team. And now here we are. We've lost 3 games in a row. I'm saying we, like I'm the Suns. I've never watched a Suns game up until this playoffs. And here I am, so invested. My time, my energy, my money. My money! I didn't really bet that much. But when you bet any amount, you have a greater stake. You have more investment, not just emotionally, but then financially at that point. There are real life implications here. I want to say that the Suns are letting me down, but it's not over yet. In an hour and 12 minutes, they're going to tip off, and we'll just have to see what happens. The Bucks just shocked me because going into the series, look, I say that I'm a casual basketball fan, but I guess I'm somewhere between casual and I guess a little advanced because I do keep up. I keep up with the numbers, I keep up with the players, I keep up with the movement. I feel like a casual NBA fan just pops in, watches the games every once in a while when they're nationally televised. But me, I follow these players on Twitter, all right? I know my stuff. Now, I don't know enough to get paid to talk about it. I don't know enough to beat anybody in any given day on any given argument about the NBA. But I know enough to, talk and not feel like a complete idiot until, after the games are actually played. Because my predictions, look, I'm not in the prediction business. If I was, I probably wouldn't just be driving around in circles or doing a podcast that 10 to 15 to 20 to 3 people listen to. But I feel like I know enough to know, you know what? I shouldn't be so hard on myself. If you've been following this series, you know how crazy it is, how quickly things change. A team wins 2 games in a row and you're like, oh, well, obviously they're the better team. And then another team wins 2 games in a row and you're like, oh, well, obviously, just look at them, duh. But we don't ever really know until it happens. That's why you just watch the game. Just enjoy the game. Don't get too deep. Don't get weird about it. It's just a game. But now it's also my money. But we'll get to that. Let's actually talk about the series, by the way. There's this weird thing happening with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Devin Booker, where they both put up 2 40-point games, which, is historical when you consider, the other people that have done it. It's not many. So you probably think, oh, nobody's playing any defense. No, they are. I think it has a lot to do with the coaching. It's like how when we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, why do I keep saying his name like that? The Greek Freak. I used to have such a hard time saying his name. I think that's why you have to come up with nicknames for people, either if you find them extremely endearing, you want them to like you, or if you just have a hard time saying their name. I happen to not have a hard time saying Giannis's name. I actually think it's quite fun. But Giannis, his domination in this series, people are comparing it to Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq Daddy, Big Diesel, like that guy. 4 rings, top 15 player ever, MVP or 2. I heard some crazy stat where like he averaged like 38 and 17 in the finals. It sounds like video game numbers. No, that was just him. He's that good. So naturally, Giannis is going to get compared to that. And Giannis is simply just that good. Somebody said something that really made me think, like, you can't win back-to-back MVPs and then win finals MVP and not be like the best player in the league. How do you argue against that, you know? If we're talking about like talent, skill-wise, you can be like, oh, he can't shoot, oh. And it's just weird. Can we stop saying that, by the way? It's so dumb. Like, saying that Giannis can't shoot is like saying Shaq couldn't shoot. They're big men. Like, what do you expect? Like, I get it. The times are different. Positionless basketball, whatever. But, like, we don't expect Rudy Gobert to shoot. Like, we don't expect DeAndre Ayton or some other, like, random big man. Like, people weren't, like, screaming at Yao. Like, why isn't Yao, like, shooting more? Well, he can actually kind of shoot. But you get my point. It's just weird, the treatment of Giannis. I don't know. I don't know if it's racial. I don't know if people don't like him because he's from Greece. I don't know what it is. Is it his haircut? Is it his accent? I don't know. But, like, the Giannis slander needs to stop. Back-to-back MVP could be finals MVP within the next week. So there's Giannis. As far as Devin Booker goes, you probably heard me if you listened to the previous installments of this series, these sessions, A Buck in Sunlight. I said that I really, really wanted to watch Devin Booker and see how he handles being in the limelight. Flawlessly, perfectly. With the exception of that one game, he was like 3 for 14, had 10 points. Coach pulled him out in the fourth. But to have 40 points in multiple games, to be the primary scorer, he seems fine. Like, I look at his face, I look in his eyes on my beautiful, wonderful 4K TV, not trying to flex. He looks good, and he looks comfortable, with the exception of, you know, the end of the last game, but whatever. I do want to talk about the coaching. Because Mike Budenholzer, we talked about this before, he was like on the chopping block. They were saying he's in the hot seat. People were talking about him getting fired. Like, after making the finals. Like, because somebody has to go. Somebody has to pay. It feels like I'm watching Game of Thrones now. My fiance finally convinced me to, and I feel like an idiot because it's a great show. But there's this point in the show where, like, a dog or a wolf or whatever kills somebody. Or, no, doesn't even kill somebody. Just, like, bites someone. And they can't find that animal. They're like, we need to punish that animal. They can't find it. So they get, like, a sibling. Like, they get the sibling of the person who owns that animal, and they kill the sibling's animal. Like, that's what I feel like the NBA is like. Like, look, okay, we can't actually punish them, so we have to punish. Somebody has to go down. But, like, this isn't Game of Thrones. This is the NBA. Like, but we're treating these people like this. Like, they have to succeed. Like, they have to be perfect, and it's just not right. Sometimes, like, being good enough is good enough. You know, you just have to wait for the perfect time to break through. How ridiculous would it be if Mike Budenholzer did end up getting fired if they lose this series in 7 games? It'd be ridiculous. It's not fair. He's done a well enough job. His team's playing great defense, and I know a lot of that has to do with the acquisitions of PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday. But it's still, they still have to go out there and do it. They still have to be coached. And to come back down 2 games and win 3 in a row, that's got to be coaching. I don't think the players just found it amongst themselves internally. I don't think Giannis was giving them this great, incredible speech. That's got to be coaching. So give that man his flowers. Monty Williams, however, he has some questions to answer. He could be better. What is going on? Why is Giannis scoring so much? Well, you know what? Giannis, I get. But, like, why is Drew Holiday going off? What's going on? Change the defense. Stop letting him go baseline. Hack him. Hack Giannis if you need to. Look, I think that hacking players, forcing them to go to the free throw line, I think it's whack. I think it's lame. But if we're in the NBA Finals, you should consider it. Just a thought. I don't know. Just maybe you might want to win. I'm talking like he's listening to me. Monty Williams doesn't care what I think. He's an NBA coach. I'm just a kid. I talked earlier about how with predictions you really don't know until it happens. But for me, I'm a flip-flopper. I'm all over the place. If you are like a serious, legitimate, loyal just listener of mine, you might remember a session that I put out way earlier in the playoffs called the NBA Finals before the NBA Finals. And nobody really cared about that because you either like basketball or you don't. And if you saw that, you're probably like, I don't really care. And also he doesn't know what he's talking about. But what's crazy about that session is in the session, the NBA Finals before the NBA Finals that you probably didn't listen to, I said, when talking about the Bucks and the Nets series, that whoever won that series would not only make it to the finals, but then probably win the finals. And we're very close to that happening. So look, either way, I win. either way, I win. I am the house. Just disregard all that stuff I said in the other A Buck and Sunlight episodes. Just don't worry about it. Forget it. I know I said the Suns would probably win in 5 or 6. I know I said Devin Booker might crack under pressure. He didn't. Get off me. But let's not worry about me. Like I said, let's just enjoy the game. I say I bet the house on the Suns tonight. It was like $15, okay? Because for me, I want the greatest amount of pressure, not only on these players, but like also on me, because I feel like that's what makes it so much fun. That's what makes sports incredible. Like you feeling like you have a stake in the game, you feeling like you're winning when they win, like being able to share in that joy with them or share in the defeat. So there's one more thing before I end this, because I want to get ready for the game and I got to figure out what I'm going to eat. So when it comes to gambling, which I don't recommend, by the way, please do not go gamble. Gambling's bad. My fiance hates it. It's not even that much money, but I feel ashamed until I win. But anyways, there are multiple ways to decide how you're going to bet on something. Some people, and I think this is the most popular way, and it's the way that I usually do it. For example, I bet on Jake Paul fighting Ben Askren. I'm not going to explain who those people are. If you don't know, you don't. It doesn't matter. If you know, you know. Jake Paul is a bad person. I don't like him very much. So I bet on him to win the fight. So that way, if Jake Paul wins the fight, I get money. But if Jake Paul loses the fight, that means somebody punched him in the face really hard and embarrassed him. And it's like a win-win. I think that's like a nice, chill way to like, throw a couple dollars at something. It feels like a win-win. You know what I mean? But I'm taking the opposite approach here, where like the other one's like low risk, low reward. This is like kind of high risk, high reward, because not only do I want the Suns to win, I also put money on them. So if they do end up winning tonight and then win in Game 7, I'm the happiest man ever. But if they lose tonight and it all ends, the whole season's over, and the money I bet on them in the April and the money I bet on them tonight, like if that's all gone and CP3 loses and is extremely depressed and Scott Foster's laughing and Stephen A. Smith is yelling and like it's going to be devastating. So let's just hope that's not the case. But I guess you'll find out how I feel in a couple of days. Love you. Mean it. Bye. This episode was made possible by Anchor. If you're listening to this episode on Spotify, please consider giving me a follow so you can be notified when I upload. If this ever ends up on Apple Podcasts, I'd really appreciate a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at Derapy Podcast or Instagram at Derapy_podcast. The intro music is by my brother, Damon Buxton. Outro music is by Lobo, and cover art is by my friend Nick Johnson. Thanks for listening. This has been Derapy.